or sponsors. Do you ever have questions of things going bump in the night? Keys disappearing when they are right in front of you? Welcome to the Paranormal Talk Show, where we attempt to answer all the questions you wanted to know, but were afraid to ask. Visit our website at keywestparanormalsociety.com and tell us your story. Call in to Parashare Live, 888-565-1470.
Good evening, Amber. I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you too, Tim.
Awesome. We got a wonderful show tonight.
We do.
It's unbelievable what we're going to talk about.
All right.
Okay. First of all, we've got a giveaway package.
All right.
Giveaway package.
So what's the phrase that pays?
Ghostbusters.
All right.
Ghostbusters is the phrase that pays. So call in.
Call in.
And say Ghostbusters. Now, what this consists of is a 2-night stay in Surf Castle in Melbourne Beach. Wow.
Nice.
Free. We all love the word free.
I think everyone needs a vacation right about now, right?
Absolutely. After all of these storms that's been through here, it's unbelievable. But we also want to go out and put ourselves out there tonight and thank all the first responders for
absolutely.
this hurricane. You know, because we do have a lot of friends in the Keys, we have a lot of friends in Palm Beach and in Broward County, and we just want to go ahead and give a shout out to all you guys that.
Yes, thank you everyone, and thank you everyone who is putting themselves out and giving donations. The Keys really needs our help right now. They have no water. Right. I think the major thing that we can donate, if we can, is water if we can find it. And baby wipes. Trust me, baby wipes are necessity because water's precious. We can't wash our faces with our water. We need to drink it. So
this is true.
Baby wipes to get you clean. There's no running water down there. So people that are cutting the trees, getting their houses in order and getting back to business, because hopefully next year at this time, the Keys will be up and running. It might be a little different than what we remember, but it's going to be there.
Awesome.
Hey, I heard some places in the Keys that have been there for 100 and some odd years are still standing.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So that's great news. Some of our favorite haunts that we love to go to in Key West are still standing. Just might be a little waterlogged right now, but definitely.
Florida residents, we always come back.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
And yes, I consider myself a Floridian, even though I have that accent, as being a hillbilly, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I love Florida. I've been here for a long time. This is my home. And, we've endured a lot. But we always kick back. Now, listen, this phrase that pays, once again, I'm so excited. Come on.
It's okay, Tim.
2-night stay in Surfcaster in Melbourne Beach. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You're running on no sleep, aren't you?
Yes, I am, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to give you guys a phone number. Remember this phone number, jot it down, because Ghostbusters is the phrase that pays. 888-565-1470.
All right. Cool.
888-565-1470. Call in, say Ghostbusters, and we'll set you up with that 2-night stay in Surfcaster in Melbourne Beach.
I wonder if it's haunted. I'm gonna have to look that up later. I'm gonna have to find out. So let's
figure it out. Bit of research.
I'm not that familiar with the Melbourne area, but I do know the Miami-Dade and Broward and
Melbourne is beautiful. Melbourne is beautiful. Cocoa Beach, all those areas up through there.
Absolutely.
This is what you need. This is what you need right now to get away from everything that's been going on. And also, I want to give out a happy birthday to Cassie in Missouri from Mom and Dad.
Happy birthday, Cassie.
All right.
Woo.
Woohoo. Cool.
All right.
Call in.
Please call in and let us know your stories if you have any stories. I know some interesting stuff usually happens. We've had a lot going on. There was an earthquake today in Mexico.
Wow.
So there's a lot of earth shaking, crazy stuff going on in the world.
Wow.
Right now.
This is news to me.
Well, yeah, this just happened. So far, 60 people have lost their lives. So our prayers do go out to Mexico today. We are thinking of you.
Absolutely.
Because they're getting wrecked with hurricanes also. And just the weather, it's right now. After this whole solar eclipse, it's like, woo! Craziness is happening. And
flip-flopped.
This Friday is fall equinox. So fall starts also. So we're completely changing seasons. We're changing. It's sometimes
that's awesome. You keep up with all that stuff, Amber. You give me a call and you tell me, hey, we got an equinox coming out. Full moon.
Well, yes,
all this
exactly.
stuff.
Well, it's a new moon tonight, so change is coming. Change is coming.
Change for the good.
Well,
change
I hope
for the
so.
good.
Sometimes
we got to think positive.
Absolutely.
We have to think positive on all this stuff. Okay?
Absolutely.
No negative stuff. No negative stuff. We got enough of that going on right now. But anyway, give us a call. Tell us your story, and we will talk about anything you want to talk about.
I just want to say, Leanne just texted me. Hey, she's listening and watching us. Leanne.
Hi, Leanne.
Love you. Thinking of you right now.
Absolutely.
It's a very stressful time for our Key West family and the Key West Paranormal Society. Our family has taken a hit. Oh, Jackie. Hey, Jackie's on the line.
Hello there. How are my two favorite people doing?
Hey, how are you, Jackie?
I'm doing great, actually. I was looking forward to calling in and saying hello. I listened to last week, and I thought the two of you were just awesome, both of you.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Absolutely. So, Jackie, do you have a story to tell us tonight? Is there something you want to talk about?
Well, I've always got some good stories, and one of my things was trying to figure out, because a lot of people think paranormal is just with spirits, but, it has to do a lot with different dimensions, aliens, UFOs, so definitely have something. I was in the Smoky Mountains recently when I was trying to run away from this hurricane, getting some relief. But we saw something that was pretty unusual there, and it made me kind of think of what some people call Bigfoot or Sasquatch. But I could have sworn we saw something walking in there, and it was.
What was it, Jackie? What do you think it was?
What's up in the blue?
It's kind of hard to say what it was because it was from a distance. It was, it was. I'm going to say it wasn't quite dark, maybe dawn, but it looked like someone moving, but it just didn't look like a regular human either, and it was from a distance. So I would think that, I'm not quite sure, and, you hear all these stories about, different species that are here, and so...
Absolutely.
I'm just not sure what I saw, but I've got to tell you, I just don't think it was like of what we would consider to be a regular human earthling type of a person.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Could you describe how large it was, or what it was doing?
It was from a distance. I don't know. I would probably say it was well over like 6'5" at least.
Wow.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
So you don't think anyone was in a Sasquatch outfit, right?
What was that?
No, I don't think anybody would have been in a Sasquatch outfit. I mean...
Well, it's possible.
Just for Jackie, I'm sure.
Well, he could have posed for her. But anyway...
I mean, you never know, by the way, because a lot of people do experimental things, and, they're out there doing footsteps and this and that. So I've always been, even though I believe in the paranormal too, but I also... always have that one side of me that says, is this something somebody, might be a little hoax, or, I'm always questioning things too.
Well, there's a great deal. You want to be skeptical, healthy skepticism, because you don't want to dismiss everything, because, I mean,
no, not at all.
Unless somebody's actually getting dressed up every single night and going out. I mean, what are the chances that you're going up to the Smoky Mountains, and the night that you happen to be out, somebody decided that, tonight's a great night to just jump into my ape costume and go run around the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, right.
The rarity of that happening, usually if someone's going to do something like that, there's going to be a big bunch of people so that they can get a bigger... or some opening of some store going on or something like that, to kind of promote them. But There's definitely, I think, some movement.
I was not drinking, of course. I was driving, and I did have other people in the vehicle, too. So, and it wasn't like I was totally exhausted while I was seeing hallucinations or delusional or something. So, so that's what really shocked me. And
it wasn't a bear with mange? It wasn't a bear with mange? Well, a bear with mange has no fur on it. It's like a dog. Bears can also get mange too. So,
and if you really look at his face, it almost looks like a werewolf.
Yes, they look like some sort of devil dog.
You got it. Yeah.
And so a lot of people, when they see those animals up there or something like that, they can mistake them for, when it's just a poor old bear with mange.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to tell you, see, the Smoky Mountains are known for black bears, actually, too. So
that's true.
I was like, oh, my God, am I seeing a black bear, or what am I seeing? So,
but also, those Appalachian Mountains has a lot of history and a lot of myths, and they have a lot of hauntings in there. And also, a lot of people have also spotted Bigfoot up in that area.
Absolutely. And I know that there's a little bit of government activity too, in terms of mountains and stuff like that. So you could be seeing some stuff there too with lights, UFOs, Bigfoot type things.
Oh, so I didn't know there were actually sightings out there in the Smoky Mountains?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's documented.
It's documented.
I'm not being crazy then. Okay.
You're not crazy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, there's definitely a chance that you could have seen that.
Now, Jackie, did you happen to walk up in that area and look to see if you could find footprints or anything?
No, it's so hard because I'm not sure if you've been through the Smoky Mountains, but we went actually from the North Carolina side up. We went through the Cherokee area too. I wanted to stop by, and go visit there, and then we went that way. So we actually went on the highest peak of the Smoky Mountains that way. So it was very hard to actually. You can't just get out and start walking on a free trail.
Yeah, I know that terrain real well. Actually, I grew up in that area, out from Cherokee and Maggie Valley area. That's where I grew up at.
It was great. So I was driving, so we can pull over and kind of take a look is what we did, but then that was a distance, so it's like we didn't have we weren't by one of the trails to kind of go off and actually walk through it, that's why.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
So, but seeing something like that, as I said, makes me really wonder about, it just reminds me again that the possibilities that we're just not alone. We're coexisting here. We walk next to each other, and sometimes we think a cool little breeze went by, but in reality, my goodness, that could have been something else.
Well, that is true. It could have been something else. We don't know. But if I had to say what that was that you actually saw, I'm going to say, hey, welcome to the Bigfoot Club.
Yeah. I've seen it. I know I have as a kid growing up in northern Michigan. Because normally a black bear is going to chase after you at dusk, and this did not. It was a juvenile, and it wasn't until I got older and started to look up and realize that in the area that I live, there had been 3 Bigfoot sightings at that time, at the same time that I saw this, and so rationalizing it in my head, it took me a while to think. Okay, so a bear. I've seen bears. I grew up in northern Michigan. I've seen all sorts of wild, crazy animals, rabid and non-rabid.
Something like that right there.
Well, a little similar. But but when this thing, it was at dusk, and when I saw it, it looked at me, and that dusk you can't quite see because everything kind of has a shadow over it, so you don't get a good look at anything. True. And I hightailed it out because we were picking blueberries, so it was late August. Oh. And I ran as fast as I could back to the cabin, and sure enough, my cousin was right behind me, like, what are you running from? I said, I saw a bear. Well, a bear would usually start huffing after you, especially a mama bear, because it was as big as a mama bear. Babies don't usually chase after you, and if there's a baby, there is a mama. So you're going to hear that.
Yeah.
And
yes, you are.
Running after you. Again. No, thank you.
That's another thing. It's like, we weren't really close, but my girlfriend, she was actually in the cartoon, she's actually seen black bears over there. She's been there before several times, and she's had the opportunity to actually have one cross basically in front of her, and she was like, really afraid, but at the same time, she was able to say, "Oh no, honey, that is not a black bear."
Yeah, they're on all fours. They're on all fours, and they're slow.
Yeah.
They don't move fast unless they're running from something or running after something.
Right. Oh, I know for a fact that when I lived in that area up there, every year around summertime, when the apples would start getting ripe and stuff on the trees, this black bear would come down from the mountains, and he would go down at the bottom of our apple tree, and he would knock these apples off the tree, and he would eat those apples. And even our dogs wouldn't even bark at him, you know. But I've seen bears stand upright, and they don't look like
their arms
people.
are out in front of them. Usually, they don't come out.
Yeah,
they'll come down. And they kind of, because it's an awkward stance for them.
Yes, it is.
And what people are seeing when they see almost as ape-like, because the arms are out just like they would be us.
Right.
And depending, I think, too, sometimes just on the area, the colder it is, the bigger the Bigfoot.
Right.
Because, you know, you have the swamp ape, swamp monkey.
Yeah.
And here in South Florida, who's been seen in Davie, it's been seen... up and down. And
there's also the blue man. He's also known as the blue man, Sasquatch, skunk ape,
there's
Yeti.
many names. Yeah, Yeti.
There's many names in different regions throughout the country that these people call this thing. And it...
Grassman.
Yeah, grassman. I mean, you know, even though it's... You see... What
really makes me curious, though, Tim, too, is that when you look, and for that split second that you see it, and it is difficult to concentrate and really focus on it because you're not looking for it. And then when you look again, it's like, where did it go? And then it makes you think, because like in the area, I think there's some caves or something too. So
there is caves in that area.
What was your
living underground somewhere, or are they really a different species from somewhere else? Or
well, a lot of, you know, some people say that this. The Sasquatch, skunk ape, whatever you want to call it, is from another world. It comes through a time portal, and it's from another world. That's why we're not able to capture this thing.
Well,
you know, we're not able to capture it. But you do get glimpses of it.
Right, but even so, even if you... I mean, this is a great debate I love to have with people, because I lived in northern Michigan. I never saw a dead animal unless it was hit by a car on the side of the road.
Roadkill.
Walking through the woods, you did not find a dead deer.
True.
You did not find a dead moose. You did not find these things just laying there dead.
Right.
And so, you know, people say, "Oh, well, you haven't found evidence." Well, show me evidence that, you know, unless you've taken a picture. If something is a very small group and has... What was it? The 1920s when they finally found the black gorilla?
Yes, exactly.
So
but here's the thing:
there's things out there that we haven't found yet.
Right.
They're just very small, and they're probably dying off at this point in time too.
Yeah.
If it is real. Now, if they're interdimensional, that opens a whole nother can of worms there.
Exactly. That's the thing. You know, I believe in portals. I really do. I believe in portals. They do exist. I do believe that things can come as they will, from one dimension to the other. I believe that.
Portals, yeah. I think there are portals all over the world, actually. I don't think people realize how portals, you know, exist, but they're definitely out there. And going back to the Bigfoot, you know, being native, have some native blood here, it's in...
Oh, so do I, Jackie.
Family. We've heard stories...
Proud of it.
...about... they weren't called Bigfoot though, but that sometimes when they come, it's also for reasons when you see them. So I was asking my mom, I said, because she was there with me too, and we're trying to figure out, we're like, because, you know, whatever background you guys are, but sometimes the stories throughout the families, you know, you hear them.
I'm Creek and Irish.
Happen, and so, but they've been very familiar they know so much more about this than we do, and it's like, wow, you know, it's really opening my mind right now to this.
I think that's the coolest thing too about the whole paranormal realm also is that no matter where you go in the world, Jackie, Every native human being has their stories of that land, and there's so many different names for the same being.
That's right.
Which is amazing. You know, we have these things we can't explain.
Right.
But you go on the other side of the world and you start talking, oh yeah, we have something similar. It's but there's another name to it.
Exactly.
And it looks similar.
The abominable snowman, the Yeti.
And you know, you go over into Europe, you go over into Africa, you know, even into the Middle East. We have, you know, you have so many different cultures, different names for the same types of beings. So that always leads me back to the whole alien type thing of different, you know, things coming from other places at different times, spreading seed around, because we're alien at one point in time. You know, beings created from whatnot too, you know, depending on, you know, backgrounds, but we come from somewhere. We were created by something somewhere else, and we're seeded. And these things too have been here and come here, and maybe it's easier for some things to come through vortexes.
Well, you know, it's a known fact that there's like a missing species that they can't even account for either. And, you know, how old really is this world that we're living in? You know, there's so much theory, so much hypothesis, and so much, you know, I guess it's like guessing game, because how old? I mean, I think that this world is a lot older than what they really think it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just, as they're digging, they keep finding more fossils, and it's just amazing, the layers and layers. And like you said, Amber, I agree with you 100% that regardless of where you're at in this world, somehow there is a link, you know, that connects.
Just for food for thought, just because we have been seated here does not mean that there is not an extraterrestrial or God that created us. We could have been created on a whole different planet billions and billions of years ago and escaped that planet and came here and restarted and reseeded. So, I mean, and I'm sorry, but there isn't a scientist out there that has been able to prove or disprove that theory.
That's true.
And
I agree.
Many religions talk about that,
yes.
You know, that this is out there, and that this has happened, and that, you know, there's so much talk that can be opened up in the paranormal, and it's just so amazing. And, you know, and I hope we can do this with this show. And Jackie, thank you so much for calling in tonight and starting a great conversation. Loving people who call in and open up, and let's have an open discussion about the paranormal, because it is something I think people are afraid to have an opinion about, because they have the dogma of religion hanging over their head. And it's you know, you can still be a spiritual, loving human being and have the beliefs that you have and still question. I think even anyone would do that.
That's very interesting that you say that, because, you know, even with myself and so many people that I know, they are, whether they're spiritual, whether they're religious, that they still have that's innate in them. That's whether it's conditional, whether they've been taught, whatever their belief is, but they also have that other part of them that's unexplainable, that part that they don't know, the part that, you know, when the phone rings, you kind of know who it is already. You know, when something's happening to your children, you kind of feel it already. You kind of sense things, you can smell things and hear things. And I think that is that intuition, that part of us that is not just physical. And people, you know, are afraid to talk about it sometimes because they think they're, you know, people, you know, can bully them or say, oh, you're crazy, you're insane, you're this and you're that, or maybe you're on meds, or maybe you got a psychological problem, psychotic, you know. So, but the reality is, it happens probably, I'm going to say, I mean, this is an educated guess I'm going to take, but I'm going to say 98% of people actually do experience things. Now, maybe they're not all aware of it, but I just think that, you know, it's just there, and people, don't be afraid. You know, you got to talk about it so we all learn from each other, too. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I think when science and spirit come together, and maybe that's what's happening right now on this plane. Maybe that's what's going on.
Well, you always have the scientific part of it as well as the spiritual part.
Once it collides, and once science gets out of its dogma and religion gets out of its dogma, and realize that there are so many more questions, so much more that can be opened up when they come together and not question one another.
Right.
And it'll come together, and there's going to be a lot of healing that's going to be going on.
My spiritual part, I believe in God, believe in Jesus Christ. I know that God made man, rose him up in the dust of the ground, breathed air into his nostrils. I believe that. That's my religion. I practice what I preach. But I also am open to other things as well. I don't believe that we are the only creatures that God created. I don't believe that.
No, I think there's so many more planets. I think there's just
another
so
world.
much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out there, and I think it's beautiful for the human mind to believe. And if we just come from a place of love, and that's what I've been seeing a lot of lately, is a lot of love.
We have to have that. We have to have all of that positive.
And helping one another, and just staying positive.
So I really would like to give a shout out to Deepak. He's working with Oprah Winfrey and everything, but Deepak, I think, is a really fine example of someone who was religious, spiritual, but yet has merged the science with it now. And so when you have that, that's like opening a whole new world. And, with Einstein and everyone else.
Absolutely. Hey, Jackie, I just like to thank you so much for calling in. We're coming to an end now, and we're going to be ending our show. And we'd like to thank all the visitors visiting us tonight and listening to us.
Yes.
From this planet or beyond. Remember, phrase that pays?
Ghostbusters.
So call in.
It's going to give you a 2-night stay in Surfcaster in Melbourne Beach.
So if not this week, next week. So thank you all.
888-565-1470. And also, for any investigations that you might want us to do, it's Key West Paranormal Society, and our phone number is 305-407-5723.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Next week.
Thank you for joining us on tonight's journey into the unknown. Remember, there are no definite answers to the paranormal. Join us next week to continue the journey. We are here to help make sense of the unknown. The opinions expressed on the preceding